Hey Laney, I think I've already given you an update on the hull. By the way, the hull was holding water when we got here. We got caught in some rain. So the engine, not an original Chris-Craft engine, but that's not a big deal. The giveaway was that it's not a Paragon transmission, but not a problem. The valve covers say it's a Corvette engine, but you know, it could or could not be. But at any rate, let's see, what are the concerns? Oh yeah, so we did a compression test. This side of the engine is numbered 1357, front to back, 1357, 4 cylinders. The other side of the engine is 2468. So I had some tape handy to write on as I was doing this. So number 1 is 120 pounds. That is the correct. That's an ideal pressure. That's good. That's good PSI on this engine. Number 3 and number 5, the next 2 cylinders, the center cylinders, are 60 apiece. That's low. Then number 7 is 120. That's good. Number 2, which is the first one on the other side, is 120. That's good. Number 4, second one back on the other side, is 70. That's low. Number 6 on this other side is 100. That's a little bit low. And number 8 is 110. They should be within 10% of one another. So if the top one is 120, you shouldn't have anything less than 108. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 cylinders. I also verified, I thought this might be a head gasket and that we might be leaking from one cylinder to the other, but we're not. I verified that. So a couple of things. The engine needs a tune-up. We thought about trying to go ahead and run it, and because I have seen these low compressions before on engines that have sat for a while, and what it is sticky valves, and you run it for a while and the compression comes up to maybe not perfect, but you know, very good. And so we wanted to run it. It's going to take, like I say, it's going to take a tune-up and a carburetor rebuild before we can run it. So I'll give you a price on that. If that tune-up and running it doesn't cure this problem, then we'll take the heads off, and that's where the valves are located. Take the heads off, and we'll go through the heads, and and while we're in, we'll make sure that all the exhaust valves have hardened seats so that you can burn unleaded fuel without damaging your valves. They may already have hardened seats just because, you know, your dad may have had this engine worked on. So we're going to need to do a carburetor rebuild or get the correct carburetor, one of the two on that, and then we're going to need to points, electronic ignition perhaps, or points and condenser and cap and rotor, which are under the rotors underneath that. The points are underneath the cap. The cap's the brown thing up here, and then and wires and spark plugs. And so I'll put a price together for those things, but that's the very first thing that we'll have to do, and then we can determine if we need to do any more work on the engine. But it's not a disaster. That's the good news. And even your cassette player works. So anyhow, well, I don't know if the cassette works, but the radio works on it. So anyhow, that's the latest update. Talk to you soon.